Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to analyze a game that happened in the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour. It was between Duda and Hikaru, and Magnus has won the tournament after playing his final round with Wesley. So it was a beautiful game. The uh, let's see. Magnus was in the first position. We have Hikaru in the second, seventh position. No, but I feel like my favorite people are like Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, and some Anish Kiri. I like his play style too. So Magnus first position. We have Wesley in the second, and yeah. So let's get into the game. Okay, we have Duda with the white pieces, Hikaru with the black, and Duda opens with knight to f3, the ready opening. We have d5, and we have d4, now activating this dark square bishop too. And we have knight to f6, putting some defense on this pawn, and also, but the queen is also protecting it. We have c4 challenging the center, but the knight and the queen are defending it. So Hikaru plays e6, also maybe at some point move his dark square bishop, activate it, and castle. We have knight to d3, no, I mean knight to c3, developing the knight. The knights are well placed. The knights can jump in to the knight can jump into e5 at some point, and this can be possible. So, and also this knight is putting more pressure on this d5 pawn. So we have e7. Now Hikaru is ready to castle on king side. We have e4 activating dark square bishop and castles from Hikaru. We have e3 activating the light square bishop. Maybe Duda is also ready to castle on king side. We have knight to d7 now, developing the knight to put defense on this knight so that you don't have to mess up your structure, but kind of locks up the queen. But and now Hikaru is also planning to play knight to b6, put pressure on this pawn and defend this pawn. So we have a bishop to e2. Now Duda is also ready to castle on king side. We have d captures on c4. Castles. Of course, Duda needs can pick up his free pawn at some point. Now this can't be played because knight captures on knight can capture on b5, and you're losing two pawns. So Hikaru plays knight to b6 instead, defending this pawn, and also maybe at some point add another defender at some point if necessary. So we have b4, and a kind of an aggressive move from Duda. He is also ready to play a5, kick off the knight and pick up this pawn. But he can but Duda can pick up this at some point. So we have a5 from Hikaru, not allowing a5 from white. We have knight to e5, good outpost for the knight. Now, if you want to threaten, you have to move your knight and push this f6 pawn and threaten. But the knight is very well placed here. We have knight to d5 from Hikaru, challenging this bishop and also this knight. But Duda Duda doesn't want to have two pawns on the same f file, so he moves it back to g3. He's like okay, my bishop can defend these two pawns at some point, and my bishop can come into game later. So we have c5 striking in the center. We have knight captures on c4. Now Duda claims his pawn back. We have knight b captures on c4. Bishop captures, and we have C captures on d4. We have a series of pawn trade. We have a series of trades here. Queen captures on d4. Now, maybe if you want, you can. No, there can be. You can move the knight. The queen is defended by the bishop, and if you are ready for a queen trade. But the idea is you're aiming at this weak g7 square. Maybe this bishop can jump in, or this knight can jump in, and black has to be very careful. We have knight captures on c3, so Hikaru decides to get off the knights from the board. Queen captures on c4. Duda not interested in a queen trade for now. uh, you know we have bishop to b4, a good outpost for the bishop again. Now there are no c pawn and a pawn not to threaten the bishop. Now you are threatening the white queen, and white queen has to move, and this queen at some point can go to not d2, force a queen trade or something, but that may not be the main idea. So queen moves to e5. Now still aiming at this weak g7 pawn, and white can also play rook to d1 and gain control of this d file, and the queen should move. We have bishop to e7, developing the light square bishop, and now rook to d1, pinning the bishop to the queen, and also making some room for the king. Queen to e7, getting away from the pin. We have rook to d4. Now Duda is ready to double up the rooks, and also he's planning to get his rook to g4 and threaten some mates. We have bishop to c6. Of course, Hikaru sees the doubling of the rook's idea, and he doesn't want to give a bishop. But now this bishop is also aiming at this g2 square. We have rook to g4. Now Duda is threatening mate in one. We have g6, g6 from Hikaru stops the mate, but it opens up this diagonal, and the blacking has to be very careful. So we have h4, and again an aggressive kind of move from Duda, going for h5, challenge this pawn and open up the position. We have rook to e7, making some room for the e8. Rook to e8, making some room for the king again. I don't want to allow any queen to h6 ideas later, and try lock up this king. We have h5, challenge this pawn. First Hikaru plays f6, now threatening the queen. Of these three pawns are kind of doing good job on the king side. Queen to queen to f5. Now it's funny, you can't take with either of the pawns, as the rook is spinning to this pawn is spinning to the king from the rook, and this pawn is pinned from the bishop. So that's a good outpost for the queen, I should say. But Hikaru plays h8. Now you don't know threatening a free queen. Queen moves back to c2. We have rook to we have g5, closing up the position, and at some point and play h6. But h6 right away would not be a good idea, because queen to then g6, and it would lock up the king in the h lane itself. Yeah, rook captures, kind of a sacrifice from Duda. Maybe he wants to open up the position, that some kind of diagonals here. Pawn captures, and we have a bishop to e5 check. Now the queen is getting control of this lane, and the bishop is threatening a check, and now this bishop is also pretty active, so black has to be very careful. So king to g8. We have queen to again f5, taking advantage of the pin. Also not allowing king to move any further on this lane. We have bishop to d5, challenging this bishop, which has been pretty active, as it can threaten some kind of checks and mates, I'm thinking. But now queen, this free queen again. So bishop captures on d5, and we have e captures on d5. We have bishop to f. We have bishop to f6 from Duda, threatening the queen, and this pawn is hanging, of course. No, for me, what I would since I'm a kind of a low rated player, I would play rook to f8. If you take my queen, I take your queen, but then that would be a blunder, because then the queen captures on g5 would be a check, and you're losing your queen if you can't move your queen here either. So that would not be a good idea at all. So queen to e4 from Hikaru. Hikaru now offers a queen trade. As you know, he's kind of up in his position. The king is safe. So the white bishop has been eliminated. This rook and this pawns are doing a good job here. But then this pawn is kind of hanging. But so king captures check. King to f7, queen to g7 check, king to king to e6. Now the king is very safe. Queen to h6, now kind of threatening a discovery, but there are no good discoveries because the queen, the both rooks are on the white squares, and this is a dark square bishop, and this is a dark square bishop is protected by uh, this pawn. So nothing, black has nothing to worry about. We have rook to g8 from Hikaru. Now Hikaru is threatening a mate, and also Hikaru can play a g6, threaten the queen and claim free bishop. We have a check, discovery check, now blocking up the mate, and also check. King to d7, and we have rook to d5, putting some pressure. We have rook to a6, now threatening this queen. King to queen to g6. Now this bishop is pinned. We have bishop to e7, and now black bishop is black's dark square bishop is kind of into the game, can threaten the queen if it is not dark square. So queen to g3, bishop to d6, queen to g5, and we have h6 from Hikaru. Hope no, it's not a really free pawn. You don't want to capture, because then bishop to d2 check, and you're losing your queen. So it's not a free pawn. So after this position, Duda resigned the game, as is, this king is very safe, and mate is threatened, and this bishop is pinned to the queen. And, so hope you guys enjoyed the game. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.